Previously on Eye for an Eye.
Like the man who touched me, screaming for me to run. I ran faster than I ever thought I could. The sounds of bullets echoed behind me. I didn't stop until I was far away, screaming until my throat was raw. I pressed a gun to my head and angry. Let her go or you catch a bullet. Ayo, is that you? They say, revenge is best served cold. Mine had been in the freezer for 20 long years. I wasn't coming to scare him. I came to finish what his bullet had started when it silenced my family. I had 1 week. 1 week to plan a night that would execute a hatred I'd kept in ice for 2 decades. 1 week to level the ground between life and death. 1 week to deliver what they had all refused to give me. Justice. I called the names: Scorpion, Poison, Bullet, Danger, Casket. Names like bruises. Nicknames for men who had been to hell. Renamed it and brought back the receipt. We met at midnight. We have a party tonight. I said. Dress code, masked, armed. They stood in the gloom like statues. They had no questions. They had no mercy. They were the instruments I needed. We didn't knock. We entered the way they had entered our home 20 years ago, without warning, without apology. They wore masks. I did not. I went in as myself. When we stepped into the living room, he thought he was being robbed. He gasped when he saw me. "Eh, my Uber girl? You fooled us to rob us?" he blurted, desperate humor in his voice, like a man clinging to small comforts. His father and mother scrambled from the sofa, faces pale, hands reaching. His wife clutched the children. He didn't know me. He didn't recognize the shadow I'd become.
Welcome back to Groit's Lens. There is darkness in this world, an evil so vast and twisted the human mind cannot begin to comprehend its depth. If you are here, it means you have been with us on this journey. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, as it will motivate us to bring more stories. With no further delay, let the story begin.
He only knew fear when I walked forward. I stopped in front of him, slow as a verdict. I opened my jacket. From inside, I pulled the old mask, the very mask he had worn that night, and I slid it over my face. The room inhaled with him. He froze. He stared at that mask like it was a ghost. "Recognize it?" I said, voice muffled but clear through the fabric. He tried to speak. No sound came. "You wore it the night you killed my family. I thought you should see it before we all wear it together." Silence. Then the game began, because that was the justice I'd chosen. Put the killer in the center of the decision. Force him to pick who lives. Let's play a game. It was a game with no winners. Choose who lives, or refuse, and everyone dies. He got down on his knees. He cried out to God, to mercy, to any name he could remember. He begged for their lives. His wife screamed. The children clung to each other, mouths open, eyes huge. Round 1. Your mother or your father, choose. He wept. He could not choose. He sputtered apologies, promises. I looked to Poison. Poison's face was stone. He nodded once. I did not plead. Poison raised his gun and shot the mother clean in the head. She fell. The father crumpled into her. The children wailed and clung to the fallen body. Round 2. Your wife or your father? I asked, voice steady. She begged. She wept. She was imploring me to stop, to spare them, to say something, anything. The father begged his son to pick his family, to save his grandchildren. "You must choose," I said, "or the children die." He chose the father. Bullet fired. The father dropped onto the carpet, life spilling in that split second, not graphic but final. Round 3. Yourself or your wife? I asked. He whispered.
I choose myself. I choose myself.
Wrong answer, I said. Bullet moved like a flash. A single shot. The wife's knees buckled. She fell into the arms of her oldest child, whispering something I could not hear. Round 4. Choose. Son or daughter. Only one lives. He looked from the little ones to the woman who had been his life.
I choose my daughter.
Danger stepped forward. The boys were taken. The sound was brief. The room filled with choking, raw sobs. The girl, the daughter, sat frozen, the color gone from her face. She did not scream. She only stared like someone whose pulse had been emptied of future. Scorpion was supposed to end it, finish the final token on the ledger. He stepped toward the daughter. For a second, the plan twisted like a blade in my palm. She looked at Scorpion. She looked at me. In her eyes, I saw a reflection I could not kill. The same shock, the same emptiness I had felt as a child among corpses. She was a person, not a symbol. The thing in me that had been carved into single-mindedness hiccuped. Scorpion reached out, and that's when everything broke open. I moved without thinking. I raised the little mirror I had worn the night they left me, the same mask, the same weight, and I emptied my gun into Scorpion's skull. He dropped like a bell with no tone. The room stilled. Poison spun, eyes wide. I fired again. He went down, blood painting his vest. Danger lunged. One shot. One life ended in a small, ridiculous fall. Bullet drew a knife. He never even had the chance. Headshot. Silence. Only casket was left standing. He raised his hands, surprised and afraid. "Mama, I no do anything to the girl now," he said, voice thin with panic. He laughed like someone trying to sound casual, a man trying to buy time. "Funny," I said. "You think I didn't know all of you planned to take turns? There's no joke here." I shot him in the shoulder. He screamed. I leaned close and whispered into his ear, slow as a confession. "One more." Then another shot, and his body crumpled. Silence. A terrible, absolute silence that hummed in the house for a long breath. I walked over to the father, the man whose choices had tattooed the night with blood. He bled at my feet, his eyes empty of reason. Mercy had left him years ago. Now he pleaded for a mercy I didn't have. "Now we are even," I told him. I knelt before the daughter. She flinched, then did not move. I wiped the blood from my cheek, a selfish, small gesture, and whispered, "You can find me in 20 years or less. That's on you." I stepped out into the humid night. I had not wanted this life. I had been carried into it by their sins. But when you bury a rage long enough, it grows a strange weight of its own. You carry it. It carries you. The men I'd called, they were the instruments of retribution. They died by my hand because they would have become me monsters who took turns on the living. I would not let that happen. When dawn came, the house was a ruin of wails and quiet bodies. The neighbors would say later they heard a shooting that split the night. The police would come. Someone would cry for God. But there are no guarantees in justice. There is only what you do with the instruments in your hand. I drove away with the taste of gunpowder still under my tongue. On the radio, a news brief murmured something about a massacre. A family wiped out in their home. They said the killer had been masked, unrecognizable. They did not say the name I had carved into the night, but I had seen something in the daughter's eyes before I left. Not forgiveness, not gratitude, something else, a promise maybe, or a warning. When I stopped at the lights, my phone buzzed. A text, a single line. You're not the only one who remembers. I looked up. The city breathed around me, indifferent. Some things, it seems, never die. Someone in the neighborhood still remembers the story. They remember the fire, the screams, the silence that followed. And they know I am the only one who would carry this pain long enough to return it, eye for an eye. I have done what I came to do. The debt is paid, the ledger closed. But I did not walk away empty. I left behind a message, a sign for the one who still carries her own scars. If she wants revenge, she will find me. If she doesn't, then the story ends here. As for me, I will continue with my life. I will breathe. I will walk these streets and I will wait, because I know one day she may come, and when she does, I'll be ready.
Who are you?